This is not often that I do a second Sunday sermon, but I think it's important because yesterday, tragically, at least 6 migrants coming across the English Channel on boats, having paid people smugglers, they lost their lives. We're told it's 6, it could be more. So who's got blood on their hands for this tragedy? Well, yes, of course, you've got the people smugglers, but I tell you what, there's a whole bunch of other people who've got blood on their hands. There's all the usual suspects wringing their hands and saying how terrible it is and how sad. Yes, it is terrible and sad. But let me tell you this, if my policy to stop the boats of pick people up and take them back to France was enacted, then no one would leave France and therefore no one would die and those tragic deaths would not have occurred. The abuse I've got as a racist bigot for suggesting this policy is extraordinary, and yet the reality is I'm right. We can do this under international treaties. I tell you, all the charities who act in a nicey way, they're encouraging the migrants to cross the channel to receive their welcome packs. Let me tell you, you have blood on your hands. The human rights lawyers with their fake, dodgy, trumped-up asylum claims. You have blood on your hands today. The social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, who host adverts for these illegal small boat crossings. Let me tell you, folks, you who are supposed to be kind, compassionate platforms, you too have blood on your hands. The French Navy captains who escort the boats through French waters, even though actually it was far too rough for the boats to set sail in the first place. You too have blood on your hands. You should be picking them up and taking them back to France, so you don't have an excuse. The politicians who reject my policy, you too all have blood on your hands today. Because if they agreed my policy and if they collectively enacted it, then no more would die. It is as simple as that. Truly, truly straightforward. The lefty do-gooders, they bang on about the need for safe and legal routes. They too have blood on their hands today. Because those who refused their claims under all those safe and legal route applications and application centres that they want to have, if anybody gets refused, what are they going to do? They're just going to accept it? No. They're still going to come across if they think they can get across. So you too have blood on your hands. Anybody making money out of this stuff, the hoteliers, the outsourcing companies, if they actually turned around and said, no, I agree with Richard's policy, we need to stop this. We need to pick people up safely out of the boats and take them back to France. And maybe actually human life is more important than the vast profits being made this side of the channel that puts into a drop in the ocean the profits the people smugglers are making. Maybe they also have blood on their hands. Those opposing the policy of offshore processing centres to act as a deterrent, you too also have blood on your hands today. And the unions and those who took the government to court over the Rwanda policy, it may or may not have worked. It may be a deterrent. But if you keep taking the government to court, more migrants will cross the channel. So you too, folks, have blood on your hands. And I won't be very popular for saying this, but the judges who allowed the Rwanda appeal to stand, you too are part of this issue. So you've got some drops of blood on your hands. We have to have a proper deterrent. The bottom line is, the uncomfortable summary of all of this is that the establishment here in the UK has blood on its hands today. And I'm absolutely steaming mad about it. There is a long list of vested interests, all making money at the expense of people dying in the channel, and all making money at your expense, at my expense, at the expense of all the producers here at Talk TV, everyone My question to these people, all of them, these parts of the establishment, the vested interests, how many more are you willing to let die before finally you'll come round and agree with my solution that will stop this? Is it 10 more? Is it 50 more? Is it 100 more? Is it 1,000 more? I don't know. It's up to you to answer. You're the ones with blood on your hands. Frankly, you revolt me. It is the lowest of the low. There's nothing kind and compassionate about encouraging these people to take this journey. The sensible, the safe, the kind, the compassionate thing to do is to stop the whole thing. And the only way you do that, folks, is you pick up and you take back. The truth is that actually, if we show some proper leadership, if we follow the example that you saw in Australia 10 years ago, then not only does it stop across the English Channel, but actually it's what leaders across all of Europe should do for the Mediterranean crossings. Some of whom, of course, are crossing the Mediterranean into Italy. They're then coming through Europe, getting to northern France, and then doing the second crossing across the English Channel. So if all of the crossings in the Mediterranean, after a bit of courageous leadership from EU leaders and politicians, if they were all picked up and taken back to North Africa, and you get the UN involved, then guess what? Thousands would not have already died here in 2023, because they reckon it's approaching 2,000 who've already died. We're only in August, for heaven's sake. And until this happens, people will continue to die. It is as simple as that. We have to show some leadership. And we can do this under existing international treaties. I've read them. It's pretty dull, dry old stuff. But I've read them. We can do it. You just need a robust lawyer by your side. You pick up and take back to France. You pick up and take back to North Africa under existing international treaties. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives would be saved. So I finished my Sunday sermon by saying that my policy is the only kind and compassionate policy. You pick up, you take back, you stop the boats, and guess what? People stop dying. And with that, here endeth my second Sunday sermon.